In a galaxy far, far away, but not too far, there is a water shortage, where ice has become a rare commodity and a highly sought after currency. The Ice Pirates are a swashbuckling gang of intergalactic bandits who raid other spaceships for their ice cubes. Once the leader of the crew, Jason, discovers a mysterious princess, he and his crew embark on a crazy adventure with many wacky going-ons, where they go on a voyage to find the mysterious Seventh World, a lost planet known for containing vast amounts of water. In this space comedy that's a cross between Jason and the Argonauts and Star Wars. So it's time to look into 10 things that you didn't know about Ice Pirates, the movie that gave us all space herpes. Yeah, apparently it gave us space herpes. So buckle up in all its low-budget space adventure glory as we check it out. Number 10, originally a serious science fiction movie. The Ice Pirates was written by American film and TV writer Stanford Sherman. He previously wrote the screenplays for Any Which Way You Can and Krull. His original Ice Pirates script was actually called The Water Planet, and according to IMDb, it wasn't so much tongue-in-cheek, but more of a serious science fiction adventure. I imagine it probably would have been more like Krull, which was a fun movie that had joyful moments, but it could also have elements of dark fantasy, and all up was a serious movie. So how on earth did the Ice Pirates make its shift from serious science fiction to outrageous comedy caper? Number 9, MGM slashed the budget. The Ice Pirates production was picked up by studio MGM, and the movie was all good to go with a budget of $20 million. And given that Ice Pirates is a space adventure spectacle, it would have needed every inch of that $20 million. However, due to MGM's financial difficulties at that time, the studio's bankers allocated all current MGM productions to be given $8 million for their budgets. So Ice Pirates lost over half of its budget. However, apparently it did manage to beef up to $9 million. And so I'm guessing it was felt with such a low budget, there's no way that this could be taken seriously as a science fiction movie of the Star Wars or Star Trek caliber. So it was decided to turn the movie into a comedy. And according to IMDb, the movie's title, Ice Pirates, was inspired by a hockey team that was also called the Ice Pirates. Number 8, getting a director who could make it on the cheap. So MGM and the Ice Pirates producer John Foreman were looking for the right director who could bring this space adventure to life, but on the cheap. They turned to British director and writer Stuart Raffle on the account that they liked his 1981 movie High Risk, which was a fun, adventurous heist caper, of which was made on a paltry budget of $1.1 million. So clearly this was a director who knew how to make exciting movies with a very low budget, with Raffle both writing and directing that movie. So Raffle came on board as both Ice Pirates director, and he also reworked the script to make it a comedy. According to Raffle and producer John Foreman, for their vision of the movie, they took inspiration from old pirate movies, particularly The Crimson Pirate. Now I know that the comedy aspect keeps getting brought up, and yes, Ice Pirates does have plenty of comical moments. I mean, it features a machine that chews up your balls. Oh no, definitely not on my bucket list, that one. Ugh. But to me, it feels more comic book than it does outrageous comedy. After all, this movie is grounded within its own bizarre reality. Let's just say that this line represents the tone of space opera movies. And all the way at the bottom here, you have Star Wars, which is a serious movie. And then at the other end here, you have Spaceballs, which is a balls-to-the-wall spoof. Well, I would put Ice Pirates right about here in the middle. Or, okay, maybe at least here. And incidentally, Stuart Raffle would go on to direct the timeless masterpiece story about a little boy who befriends a lost alien. Yep, that's right, the unforgettable classic, Mac and Me. Number 7. A cast of pirates. So seeing how Ice Pirates had a small budget to work with, it seemed pretty clear that they weren't going to be able to afford your Harrison Fords or your Sigourney Weavers when it came to casting. However, surprisingly, they did manage to get Anjelica Huston to star as Maida. According to Wikipedia, she starred in the movie because she was personal friends with the movie's producer, John Foreman. Now, she looks amazing in the movie, and it's a shame that she's really only a background character who sort of turns up here and there. It's like you've got Anjelica Huston, why not use her more? But maybe that was part of the deal. Maybe she didn't want to do too much filming. Maybe. Supposedly, Kevin Costner was offered the role of Jason, the movie's main lead, but turned it down. Robert Urich, who would go on to play Jason, was cast because he was contracted with MGM to make a TV series with the company. But I'm guessing there was no TV series just laying around to be made, so they convinced him to star in Ice Pirates instead. The cast also includes daughter of Bing Crosby, Mary Crosby, as Princess Karina, Michael D. Roberts as Roscoe, who was always my favourite character, and I love the face that he pulls on the poster. Football star John Matuzak as Killjoy. Now you may not recognise him, but the following year he played Sloth in The Goonies. And once again he was cast in the film because he was friends with the powers that be behind the movie. And of course, the Ice Pirates also features a young Ron Perlman as Zeno. Once again, a criminally underused performance here. Number 6. Turbulent production. So the shoot for the Ice Pirates started in California, March 1983, and according to director Stuart Raffle, it was not an easy movie to make, with it being, quote, a fiasco. Raffle stated that when Ice Pirates was greenlit, it was done so by MGM head at that time, David Begelman. But during Ice Pirates' early production, he was replaced with Frank Yablans, who, according to Raffle, was trying to sabotage the production and seemingly going out of his way to cause problems for the production and shut it down. Now this may be because of a story that Raffle shared that Ice Pirates producer John Foreman was friends with actor Paul Newman, and one time he heard Yablans saying not nice things about Newman's wife, so he punched him. Yeah, look, I wasn't there, but apparently that might have started the tension, and Yablans' quest to shut the Ice Pirates down. Raffle claims that Yablans tried to, quote, pull the money out from them, and further made claims that Yablans was stealing money from the company. Once again, I wasn't there. I'm just going by information provided online, so I'm not saying either ways. But another source did claim that Yablans was hired specifically to reduce costs at MGM. Regardless, no matter what way you look at it, there was tension. But I'm guessing from what Raffle was saying, due to the production's tensions with Yablans, it's a miracle they finished the film, but they did. But despite the bad feelings behind the camera, Raffle said that they just put everything into that movie to make it funny. Number 5. Recycled props. So nowhere is it more evident within the movie itself that Ice Pirates was suffering a low budget than when we see the futuristic domed city, which is just a recycled prop of which was originally made for fellow MGM sci-fi movie Logan's Run, where this model originally acted as a futuristic city for that movie too, which came out nearly 10 years earlier in 1976. Yep, the exact same prop. So I guess if you need a futuristic city for your movie but can't afford to make one, hey, just take a futuristic city from another movie. Back on the movie's behind-the-scenes feud, in the movie's ending, we see our heroes reach the 7th world, which turns out to be Earth. Well, originally there was meant to be a shot of the spaceship flying over modern-day Malibu, with people swimming at the Malibu beaches and looking up at the spaceship. But according to director Stuart Raffle, Frank Yablans cut the scene out, and didn't even inform him of the scene being removed. And because of this, he had to turn to vodka in order to calm down. Yeah, I really don't think these two guys would have been inviting each other over for Tupperware parties. Number 4. The sound of the Ice Pirates. When it came to scoring the fun and adventurous music for the movie, Bruce Broughton was brought on board to compose the music, delivering a swashbuckling space-age score. This was only Broughton's second movie score, but he did have the credentials, as beforehand he composed music for the TV show Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, which won him a Primetime Emmy, and after Ice Pirates would compose many classic movies including Harry and the Hendersons, The Monsters Squad, Tombstone, and, Bambi 2. Sure. He's an accomplished composer who scored lots of movies, and Ice Pirates was his early days in cinema. Speaking of the sound of Ice Pirates, going back to IMDb, the entire sound team working on the movie were fired without explanation mid-production and were subsequently replaced, although I couldn't find any reason as to why this happened. Number 3. Ice Pirates Around the World. So it's here we get to the movie's poster, and yeah, I love this poster. You could only get a movie poster like this in the 80s. It really is a lost art, with it being beautifully illustrated like a comic book. The poster was put together by Stephen Chorney, who would also create movie posters for Stakeout, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and more recently, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. However, how was Ice Pirates marketed in other countries? Well, in Japan, they got entirely different poster art, going for a more Star Wars vibe. In fact, I'll line this poster up with the Japanese posters for the Star Wars movies, and look, it blends right in. Interestingly, in that part of the world, the movie was retitled to Space Pirates. And the name changes don't end there. In Germany, the movie was called War of the Ice Pirates. In France, it was called Star Warriors. And finally, this Spanish poster translates it to Space Warriors. Sadly these days, the term ice pirates would probably be more used to describe someone who tried to rob Walter White's lab. Number 2. Ice Pirates trailer spoiled the movie's plot twist. Okay, so if you need any more proof of the Ice Pirates' low budget, just look at the trailer, which features spaceships that literally look like a child's drawing. Seriously, it looks like they've just been coloured in with crayon. Despite this though, the Ice Pirates trailer is fun and energetic, and gets you in the mood for an adventure, showcasing many classic moments from the movie, including Roscoe busting in on that alien taking a dump. However, there is one major discrepancy with the trailer, and that is that it totally gives away the movie's main plot twist, that the seventh world is Earth.
And delight in the mysteries of the seventh world.
Wow! Way to spoil the movie, guys! It's a good thing that the guy who put this trailer together didn't put the trailer together for The Empire Strikes Back, or he would have just revealed that Darth Vader is Luke's father. And The Sixth Sense. He would have been like, "Come and see this movie. Bruce Willis's character is dead." Yeah, look, anyone really, needed to watch that trailer before releasing it to the public, and maybe remove the movie's big conclusion. Number 1. Star Trek's creator had some harsh words about ice pirates. Something I find fascinating is that Ice Pirates was released in 1984, because it looks like one of those cheaper Star Wars inspired movies from the late 70s. Remember how after Star Wars, there was a craze of spaceship movies that wanted to be like Star Wars, and just like Ice Pirates, were themselves often very tongue-in-cheek. And just like those other movies, Ice Pirates also feels really disco. Well, to me, Ice Pirates falls into that category, despite being released 1 year after the original trilogy wrapped up. To me, it just has that late 70s trying to be like Star Wars on a low budget vibe. And if someone was to tell me that this movie came out in, say, 1978 or 1979, I'd be like, yep, that makes sense. It totally looks like it. But think about it. Ice Pirates was made the same year as Ghostbusters, Beverly Hills Cop, Gremlins, The Neverending Story, Red Dawn, The Karate Kid, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, The Terminator, and A Nightmare on Elm Street. And to me, Ice Pirates feels so aged compared to those movies. But that isn't a bad thing. As a matter of fact, I kind of like its cheapened aesthetic. It gives it a fun, unique pulp feel. as well as being complete B-movie schlock awesomeness. Ice Pirates was released in March 1984, and it made $14 million on its $9 million budget, so it wasn't exactly a knockout success. The force wasn't strong with this one. Of course, in its reviews it was compared to Star Wars, while also having its low-budget issues commented on. The New York Times said that it looked like a jokey Star Wars spin-off only made in an underdeveloped galaxy. The harshest criticism of the movie probably came from Star Trek's creator, Gene Roddenberry, who said that Ice Pirates is, quote, singularly responsible for bringing back the death penalty to California. Oh, jeez! Don't hold back and just say what you really think, why don't ya? God. I think Ice Pirates deserves more credit though. Although when we think of a big studio-released Star Wars spoof, we automatically think of Spaceballs, really, Ice Pirates beat Spaceballs to the chase by 4 years. It just had the misfortune of having big goals and ambitions, but being let down by a low budget, as well as a chaotic shoot, with possibly the higher-ups trying to sabotage it and shut it down. So all in all, Ice Pirates went against all odds and still managed to get made, delivering a fun, cheeky, comic book styled space adventure. Ice Pirates was never going to be groundbreaking, but that's okay. I don't think it was meant to. I think it's just meant to be some harmless popcorn fun. And if anything, it's interesting to watch as it is kind of a precursor to Spaceballs. And like that movie, Ice Pirates does have some genuinely funny moments. It's a very quirky film. When I mentioned on the social medias that I might make an episode about Ice Pirates, comment sections were flooded with comments about space herpes. I guess it was inevitable. Anyway, I'm Minty, and you just know that if they remade Ice Pirates now, it's totally gonna star Jack Black. See ya!